Hey, Shalom. First off, and give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem B'char Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS that teach us His word, and Shalom unto the hopeful elect upon the four corners of His earth that's trying to make it up out of here. So this lesson was going to be about the breakdown of Ecclesiastes chapter 3. The previous parts are posted onto the page, so I would advise you watch those, before you watch this one. um you know so I'll just start off out the gate with verse 1. It says, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So that's Solomon saying that everything that happens, everything that the Most High allows to happen, because that's who's controlling everything, there's a purpose unto it. And we might not know all those purposes, but there is a purpose to everything. And it says to everything there's a season, there's a time for everything to happen. Like the literal seasons, for example, you got spring where everything blossoms and everything flourishes, and you got summer where the temperatures start to rise. The plants are still able to harvest and whatnot. You got fall where things start to die down. The nature and things of the sorts start to wither away. Then you got winter where everything's dead, and then it all comes full circle when spring comes back, and that's those seasons. That's their purpose. But to everything else, there's a season as well. There's a time for everything else to come forth. So verse 2 says, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Because you got to remember that Solomon is a king. He's royalty, and he's very wise. So he's seen all these different things in life. He's experienced all these things in life, and he's come to the understanding of the fact that everything has its time and place. So it says a time to kill and a time to heal. And by the way, that in verse 3 when it says a time to kill also shows that 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 sometimes killing is in righteousness. It's not always murder. Sometimes killing is in righteousness. So it says a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. And for example, with that time to break down and time to build up, like with us in the truth, sometimes you have to break each other down and give each other reproof and what's the word I'm looking for? Admonishment. And you got to break a brother down, and then sometimes it's time to build up, to build yourself up, to gird up your loins. And there's another understanding of that, a time to break down, a time to build up, because Solomon was king over a whole kingdom. So there was different parts of his kingdom that he would break down, and rebuild up and things of the sorts. But there's different understandings to it. Verse 4 says, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. And just like Solomon had that wisdom to understand when these times were and when it was time for these different things to have its season, that's what we're aspiring to do. We're aspiring to get to that point where we know when it's something's season to do a thing, or to for when it's time for something to happen, or when it's time to refrain from something. It says a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. And that's a very important one right there. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. You got to know when the season is to keep silence, and you got to know when the season is to speak. That's another very important thing for us in this truth. But You got to remember that for Solomon to learn all these things, he had to go through stuff, he had to experience things, and he might not have understood things at first, but as Solomon went on in life, he slowly started to understand these things more and more and more. That's something that you got to remember. So if you don't understand these things, if you don't understand the grasp of certain things, you gotta understand that you're not gonna get it immediately. It's gonna take some time. So it says a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboreth? So the question that Solomon is asking is, what's the point, or what's the profit to to um to to a man's toiling, or his work? It says, I have seen the travail which the Most High had given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. So, uh, just like what Solomon introduces us with in the first chapter, he says he's seen the here. As a matter of fact, I'll just go to the first chapter and get it. Um, Salakia. Oh, here, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 13 says, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sore travail had the Most High given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. So Solomon has experienced that travail firsthand of his work, and the stresses of it, and things of the sorts. And that's why he's saying, I have seen the travail which the Most High had given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. So verse 11 says, he had made everything beautiful in his time. Also he had set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that the Most High make it from the beginning to the end. And verse 12 says, I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. So Solomon is saying that one of the only things that man or a person wants in their life is to have that joy of their work. They want to rejoice. They want to be able to rejoice and have a good life. It says, verse 13 says, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of the Most High. So that's that. The gift he's saying the gift of the Most High, or one of the Most High's gifts, is that you can be joyful in your life. You can eat and drink, and you can enjoy all the good of your labor, and rejoice in it. Verse 14 says, I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And the Most High doeth it, that men should fear before him. So he's saying right there that everything that the Most High has created, you can't do anything to change it. The only entity, power, the only anything that anyone can do about the Most High's creations is the Most High himself. He's the only person that can control any of that. So it says, verse 15 says, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And the Most High required that which is past. And that's back that refers back in that first chapter when he talks about that reincarnation, because it says that which has been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And that goes with chapter 1 here. I'll get the scripture. Shalakia. You see, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 10 says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath already been already of old time, which was before us. There's no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So what is that talking about? It's talking about that reincarnation, because everything is a reincarnation of itself, because time repeats itself. That's how the Most High goes about things. He has things repeat. So back down to verse 15, it says, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And the Most High required that which is past. Verse 16 says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So he's saying that he saw in the world, he saw in this place that the Most High made, that there's wickedness. There's a lot of there's a lot of there's a lot of things where people are going off, and Solomon has examined this. Verse 17 says, I said in mine heart, the Most High shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. So Solomon is saying that everyone gets judged. It's not just the wicked, it's not just the righteous. No, everyone gets their judgment, because even the righteous isn't perfect. Even the righteous who, for us who are in this truth and who are following the Most High's ways, we still go off, and we still have things that we have to work on, that the Most High wants us to do better. So we still get judged for things as well, just like the wicked get judged, because there's a time and a purpose for every judgment as well. So verse 18 says, I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that the Most High might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. So this is sort of the turning point of this chapter for me. Here I'll read verse 19 with it. It says, for that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they all have one breath, so that a man had no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. So here I'll get that word preeminence to get a further understanding of this verse. So here I'll
Strong's H 4195. Mothar.
So it says preeminence, abundance, profit, superiority, abundance, plenty, preeminence, superiority. So in this context of this chapter, we're gonna it's talking about superiority. It's saying that no man has superiority over a beast, because just like a beast, humans perish. They died. They all have one breath. They all breathe the same air. So it's saying all is vanity. And just like in chapter 1, we figured out that vanity, he's saying that everything's pointless. Verse 20 says, all go into one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. So it's saying we have no more superiority or power just over a beast, because we all die. All death befalls us all. We all breathe that same air. So you shouldn't feel so high minded about yourself, like Solomon's saying, because he's comparing us to beasts right here. He's comparing us to beasts, and that we're all going to get that judgment for our wickedness and things of the sorts. That's Solomon's wisdom coming out. Verse 21 says, who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? So Solomon, Salakia, I didn't mean to do that. Here I go back down. Solomon is saying that he perceives there's nothing better than a man rejoicing in his work, than someone rejoicing in being merry in the things that they accomplish, and rejoicing in their hard work. Just like how Solomon worked very hard in his life. He being a king isn't always an easy task. He had a lot of things to do in his life, and one of those walks in life that he took to understand the meaning of life and the meaning to everything is rejoicing in his work, is being caught up in his work, and trying to find the joy in it. And further on in this book, it's going to show that's not all that there is to life, and he's going to bring the balance of it. But I'll leave that, for the other parts, for anyone who's watching, to continue on to watch. But yeah, that's all I want to bring out with this chapter. So hey, with that being said, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem L'chak Wadash, and Shalom.